The Justice Department says former FBI Director James Comey violated FBI policy by leaking memos about private conversations he had with President Trump. The Inspector General released an 83-page report Thursday. He criticizes Comey for setting a, quote, dangerous example. Information from those leaked memos eventually led to the appointment of special counsel Robert Mueller. Paula Reid explains why Comey isn't expected to face charges.
President, your reaction to James Comey, sir? The president wouldn't comment on camera about the Comey report, but earlier today tweeted he should be ashamed of himself. Comey was investigated for memos he wrote about interactions with President Trump after the 2016 election. In one, shortly after the inauguration, Comey wrote Mr. Trump told him he needed loyalty and expected loyalty. Then, after Mr. Trump fired him in May 2017, Comey asked a friend to give the memos to the New York Times.
I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel.
The tactic worked. Robert Mueller was appointed special counsel. But today, the Inspector General said Comey had several other lawful options available to him and that his actions set a dangerous example. The IG criticized Comey for keeping and leaking the memos, but wrote that while they did contain some classified material, there was no evidence that Comey or his attorney released any of the classified information to the press. Comey declared victory, tweeting, "To all those who spent 2 years talking about me going to jail, ask yourselves why you still trust people who gave you bad info for so long, including the president."
CBS News White House correspondent Paula Reid joins me now. So, Paula, the report found that James Comey did not actually leak classified information to the press. The White House issued a statement Thursday in response. How are they characterizing what he did?
We have two responses from the administration, Elaine. The first is the president's tweet. Surprisingly, it's only one tweet where he insisted that James Comey should be, quote, ashamed of himself. The president has repeatedly attacked the former FBI director, accused him of leaking confidential information, and even saying that he believes firing Comey was one of the best things that he did in his administration. The White House press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, also released an official statement where she accused Comey of violating the, quote, most basic obligations of confidentiality. And she also suggests that his actions forced the country to endure a baseless, politically motivated 2-year witch hunt, of course, referring to the special counsel investigation. Although the special counsel's investigation dealt with much more than what Comey's memos contained. And former Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein has suggested there were other things that went into this decision to appoint a special counsel.
Well, the president has called out the FBI in the past for what he says is bias against him. How are lawmakers characterizing the findings of this report?
Well, it depends which side of the aisle they are on, of course. This case is a Rorschach test for how you feel about President Trump, how you feel about the Russia investigation. One of the president's closest allies, Senator Lindsey Graham, he released a statement saying that this is, quote, a stunning and unprecedented rebuke of the former director of the FBI. And Elaine, even though he was cleared of mishandling classified information, the Inspector General was pretty clear that they're not happy with Comey, and the fact that he decided to violate procedure, well, that may not be a crime that is prosecuted. They said specifically in this report, look, if all the rank and file folks did what you did, ignored procedure, the FBI would not be able to function. They said in order for them to properly investigate, folks within the FBI have to honor the rules and not just violate confidentiality or release classified information because they believe they have some sort of righteous higher calling. They came down on them pretty hard. And Elaine, they also reminded folks that this is not the first time they've had to review the former FBI director's actions. Of course, they were referring to their earlier report into how Comey handled the investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private server, where he was also admonished for breaking with precedent and holding a press conference to announce there were no charges, which is not something the FBI does.
Right. Well, given all of that, then, Paula, is this a victory for James Comey?
He certainly thinks it is. He was tweeting earlier today about people who had been suggesting he would go to jail, just sort of being, yes, declaring victory on Twitter. But he needs to be careful there, Elaine, because there are still ongoing investigations. And for anyone to argue that there's a winner here, there just aren't. The American people, the president, the former FBI director, you know, no one's really covered in glory here. We have to remember this investigation looked into whether the president obstructed justice, something he couldn't be cleared on. Here you have the former FBI director getting a slap on the wrist from the Office of Inspector General, and the investigations into the investigations continue. The Office of Inspector General will release another report looking at the origins of the Russia investigation and whether there was any political motivation on the part of the folks who are leading the various agencies. And the Attorney General, William Barr, he's appointed the U.S. Attorney in Connecticut, Elaine, to handle any criminal conduct that's uncovered. So we're far from the end of the investigation into the Russia investigation.
All right, Paula Reid with important context there from the White House for us. Paula, thank you.